So the time is 1905 in Anatevka, and the main characters are Tevye, a poor Jewish milkman, his wife Golda, and their 5 daughters, Seidel, Huddle, Hava, Sprinza, and Bilka. The story starts with our incredibly poor family, and Tevye explains how their life is as fragile as a fiddler on the roof. His daughter Seidel is assigned by the local matchmaker to marry a rich butcher older than her dad. But she's in love with a tailor that would make an opera studies grad student look rich. He's poor. He's so poor. And Tevye is not the biggest fan of this, knowing that he wishes for a life of wealth. Then he sings If I Were a Rich Man based on the masterpiece Rich Girl by Gwen Stefani. But Tevye reluctantly agrees to break tradition and lets Seidel marry the tailor. But don't worry, rich butcher, if you run out of options, you can always move to a place where old rich men never have to worry about being single for too long. Tevye does, however, have to convince his wife that the marriage is okay. So he pretends to have a nightmare that basically goes like this. Honey, someone came to me in a nightmare and I don't know how to interpret it. Oh no, well let me help you. What'd they say? Ooh, our daughter has to marry the poor guy. Oh my god, our daughter has to marry the poor guy. Oh my gosh, I never would have thought about it that way, but you're right. I'm so glad you came up with this. You are a genius. Let's go with your idea. Tevye's second daughter falls for a revolutionary student after being frankly pretty rude to each other. Ladies, take note, please never be like this, have some standards. But eventually the two announce their engagement and Tevye's all like, cool, tradition breaking, I guess that's just what we do now, love this journey for us. But Tevye reluctantly does give his blessing to the two, even though they're in love without the matchmaker. Which you have to understand for someone like Tevye is like having one of your kids grow a second head in front of you and then a week later the same thing happens to your other kid. Like, it's weird, okay? Tevye's third daughter, Hava, then shows up and is basically like, hey, since we're being all quirky and not like other girls, how about I marry this non-Jewish guy? No. So Tevye essentially goes full 4th grade la 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 I can't hear you and refuses to speak to her anymore. And I know what you're thinking. I guess Tevye could always have it worse. At least it's not raining. And you're right, it doesn't rain. They do, however, have to leave their home because of incoming riots. In search of a safer land, Tevye and his family all say their farewells. He then tells the fiddler on the roof, not just a metaphor, he's been there the whole time and is cashing the easiest check in the business, to join them as they leave, symbolizing a new chapter in their lives. And I know what you're thinking. That seems like a pretty bleak ending. And you're right, the end. If you want to catch the show for yourself, check out Cincinnati's production of Fiddler on the Roof on July 23rd, 25th, 26th, and 27th. Get your tickets today.